Hello guys, Dark Midnight here, back for another video where today we're going to be playing Once Human, and we're going to be playing this with the GTX 1660 Super, made by Nvidia obviously, with I think the latest drivers right now. We will be testing out an overclock later on. Although the GPU is not currently overclocked, as I have to press this button to overclock it. And for the settings, we're running a 1080p, this is a 1080p card, so it only makes sense, with basically the maximum settings. The motion blur is disabled because it doesn't make an impact on performance and it sucks. So yeah, basically the max settings, 1080p, and we pull up our MSI Afterburner, shut off VSync, sorry. So we turn off VSync here, let's find VSync, disabled, apply. And this is absolute max settings. I'm pretty sure this is Unreal Engine 5 game. Before I start, like and subscribe. It's easy, it's free, it gives me the motivation I need to keep making videos like this. You can always change your mind later. I say this every video. It's kind of just a campaign at this rate. Just do it real quick and then get back to the video. But yeah, we're getting about 107. We're dropping down into the 90s. But you gotta remember, this is max settings on an Unreal Engine 5 game in 2024 at 1080p. So it makes sense why it would drop from 100. The fact that it's getting 100, I think the GPU is actually overclocked right now. Let me check. Here, let me just apply the overclock because I can't actually tell if it's applied or not. Here, the GPU is overclocked, and with an overclock on the GPU, you can expect at least 90 FPS at all times. I haven't found any intensive parts to the game yet. I can hop on the motorcycle real quick, and I can head to the top of a mountain. Head to the top of a mountain real quick, drive around at faster speeds. This is more CPU intensive. The CPU we're using is the Ryzen 7 3700X. If you notice, the GPU is actually not even close to maxed out. So the 3700X might actually be bottlenecking our GPU. No, it's not. The GPU is currently maxed out. Okay. So there's no GPU bottleneck. You should be able to get these FPS with a Ryzen 5 3600X, maybe a 3600G if you're lucky. And you want at least 16 gigs of RAM if you want to get these same FPS. But the more you play the game, the more the RAM usage goes up. As you see, we're at about 15 gigabytes of usage, and I've seen this game go up to 18 and a half. So that's why I think 16 gigs of RAM is the bare minimum for a gaming PC nowadays. 32 gigs of RAM is the recommended amount. And I mean, you can see, even with, I have 32 gigs of RAM, we're using about half of it. I mean, this is running great. See, we can get into a fight here. I can remember how to pull out my gun. It's been a second. Oh, where did all my ammo go? Oh no. Alright, we'll use my ad. In fact, a high refresh rate experience either. Don't know why it's not letting me back in my motorcycle. So I'm gonna go back to base and get ammo, and then we can test the next game. Alright, so I need more copper for my ammo. We're still at high settings. So let's go ahead, let's drop the settings. So we go to video, performance, and let's drop everything down to low. So we'll drop textures down to low. Actually, we'll keep textures at very high. And everything else will go down to medium or low. So boom, 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 and then boom. So everything's either at low or medium, and I accidentally turned VSync back on. But I mean, I assume we're probably gonna get like hundreds all of the time. So these are the settings you would want to play at if you wanted to get like a high refresh rate experience. But let's go to disable, apply, and honestly, the FPS barely went up. Again, the CPU is struggling right now. CPU is about 93%. Mind you, I never have issues with this processor. It's one of AMD's higher end Ryzen 7 CPUs, and its CPU already is maxed out. I mean, it's at 50%, but the second you look at this game is so unoptimized. If you look over here, the CPU is at like in the 90s, but if you look over here, it's in the 50s. No? Now it's at the 90s, I don't know. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game. It's kind of terrible, but that's fine. I love Unreal Engine 5, don't you search engine. I see you over there. I see you through that screen. Don't look at me like that. Sorry. I'll stop. Okay. Boom. Another X. But yeah, you're getting like the same exact FPS. I don't know why I'm attacking this thing. Okay, I'm not even gonna ask questions. Copper pickaxe. You know, I had no idea I actually had one of those. Alright, but yeah, we're getting like the same exact FPS. And I think the reason for that is because we're mainly CPU bound. Like, again, most of the time the GPU isn't actually maxed out. So I'm pretty sure what we're experiencing right now is a CPU bottleneck, which is insane. This is an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X. So if you want the same performance as this, you're gonna have to have at least an 8-core CPU, or at least a 4 GHz CPU. So I'd say at least like a Ryzen 5 5600X, or an Intel equivalent of an i5 12400K, 12600K. I just burped. I don't know if you heard it, but it was pretty nice. Oh, I am so sorry. I did not mean to be that rude. I'm sorry. Please don't click off this video. I'm sorry. I'll stop. I'll never say that again. But yeah, same FPS. So like, see, all right, we look right here. We're getting about 120 FPS. So we're getting high refresh rate right now. The second we look over here, it drops. But as you can see, I just brought it up to 70. And yeah, it's like exactly the same. And its max settings is getting like the same frame. Okay, it's getting like maybe 5 frames less. Honestly, I would just play with the better fidelity and sacrifice like 5 frames. And either way, this is very impressive for a GPU that came out in like 2019. You know, to run an Unreal Engine 5 game like this. I think this is a custom version of Unreal Engine 5. I don't think it's quite Unreal Engine 5. Because I know there's going to be people in the comments who are like, oh, but it's not Unreal Engine 5. Yes, it's it's based around Unreal Engine 5. So, and I think you're getting almost 100 frames, I don't know, on a 5-year-old GPU in an Unreal Engine 5 game. But still really good. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people out there who do consider 90 frames per second to be high refresh rate. And I mean, I wouldn't be mad at you if you said, oh, it's 90 frames. But so far, in like less intensive areas like this, it doesn't drop from 75. So if you have one of those 75 hertz monitors, this would be a super ultra, maybe an ultra, but it would be a super smooth experience. I mean, I'm on a 60 hertz monitor and it still feels amazing, but it's because I'm not experiencing the full 100 frames per second average. So, I mean, yeah, as long as you stay away from like the church, you'll get like 90 plus most of the time. Of course, the second you go to the church, yeah, you're probably gonna drop to like maybe the 60s, but like you're gonna be 75 plus 99% of the time. But the thing about that is if you have the GTX, most of the people who have a GTX 1660 Super don't have a very good CPU. No offense. I'm not saying you're one of them if you have a 1660 Super. But a lot of people who have the GTX 1660 Super put their 1660 Super in like super old PCs or like older office PCs, like the old Optiplexes and stuff, and they had like older i5s, like quad-core CPUs. And with those CPUs, you're not getting these frames. You're probably gonna get around like maybe 70 FPS average with a lot of stutters. Like I would suggest at least a 6-core CPU that can boost up to 4.20 gigahertz. If you want to get similar FPS to this. Yeah, here's the church, and we are dropping from 2075, so there's 69. Boom, yeah, right. Yeah, you're getting a 75 hertz experience most of the time, and most people who have 1660 Super aren't playing high refresh rate. Not that the 1660 Super isn't capable of high refresh rate, but it's just the nature of the people who buy the card. Yeah, the lowest I've seen so far is 67 frames. And for max settings on a basically Unreal Engine 5 game, it's pretty amazing. So do I recommend this GPU for this game, or this game with a PC with this GPU? Well, as good as the performance was, it really just depends. Do I recommend this game with a GPU like this if you have like an old 3rd gen quad core, or really any quad core CPU that's Intel that isn't an i3? Like if it's like 8th gen or below and it's an i5 or i7 and it's quad core, do I recommend this game with this GPU? Not really. I mean, you could definitely play it with an older quad core, but it won't feel very good. It'll be a stuttery mess. But if you have like a newer i3, like 12th gen or 11th gen or maybe 10th gen, and like a Ryzen 3, a new Ryzen 3, then yes, this game could be playable with a quad core. This game probably utilizes I'd say around like 5 cores. But yeah, As long as you have a 4 GHz CPU or above, I'd recommend this game for this GPU. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.